And 3, 2, it's a go.
So loud all the time.
Jesus. I can't. Sorry. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Geeking Poetic Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Larry Roberts. Down the way, down Gotham's dark alleys, where you can find him lurking in the shadows, is none other than
WITO.
And then the femme fatale over here in the middle, the one that always needs rescuing.
I always get myself into trouble.
We got to ask you how much you weigh before we put you on the grappling hook to go up in the air and stuff. You know, don't be fibbing like Vicky Vale.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. We have none other than
Megan.
And if you haven't guessed what we're here to talk about today, we are going to do a top 5 because we know you guys love the top 5s. And what are we talking about?
Batman.
I was letting him have all the glory.
Yeah. You go, Batman!
Oh. Na-na-na-na-na-na-na.
She's got all the nanas on her. So, yeah, it's weird, man, because all 3 of us love Batman. We may not totally agree on all the movies.
Which one is the best?
Yeah. But we all love Batman, and we've just now, it's been over 2 years, and we're only just now getting around to talking about Batman, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that happens. But, yeah, so what we're going to do on here is we are going to talk about, we've each picked our top 5 favorite Batman films, and we're going to talk about why. We're going to tell WITO why he's wrong. For his choices.
Guys. You don't even know my choices yet, so how can I be wrong?
I can just imagine. No, you never know. You never know.
Yeah, we don't know. We'll see.
I think there's going to be some surprises in this list.
I think you guys know.
Well, if anybody's listened to me rant about Batman stuff in the past, they're going to know what movie is not on my list. And it's one that all of you think is just the greatest thing since sliced bread. So be prepared to argue with me in the comments. And yeah, so we're going to do this. We'll go around 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then, you know, we want to hear from you guys as to what you thought of our choices. And we'd love to hear what your top 5 is and explain it. And I'll be here to tell you why you're probably wrong. I'm just being an ass, you know. Everybody's got their own tastes, but yeah, what little I don't know what WITO's list is. I know Megan's list because she cheated and told me earlier what it was and everything. So there's some good surprises in there. But man, yeah, I don't think we need to even like beat around the old bat bush or anything. I'm just saying, well, let's not even beat around the old bat bush and let's get down to the, you know, the bat-tastic choices that we have. Am I going to be obnoxious like that?
You're going to have to be, I guess.
Yeah.
Just imagine some chick that has a bat symbol shaved into her bush.
I'm sure
it's
happened. It has to have happened.
I'm sure.
Meg's like, I'm not even touching that.
I'm not even going there. I love pictures of the guy's chest being in a big bat signal.
See, that's pretty badass.
Badass, he says. So now we know. Now we know why we never see WITO with his shirt off.
Imagine you go to the public pool, all of a sudden you take your shirt off and you got the bat symbol on you.
Everybody's going to love you.
Right.
You'll be the talk of the pool.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to want to be your friend.
Wow.
They'd probably drag me out of there, call me a weirdo.
I was just going to say.
Beat it, you fuck.
Holy bat hairs, Batman. Like, oh, God. But yeah, like, anyway, in all seriousness, let's just get into it. And we're going to try, you know, I know me, I'm the worst one. I'm going to try to keep things concise and brief, and each one of us can just name it, and we'll go around, talk about a little bit about why it's our choice, and then, you know, debate it a little bit, and then move the fuck on. But all right, yeah, we usually start with you, WITO, so why don't you tell us your number 5?
Number 5 is a thing called Batman and Robin. Now.
Wow.
Now.
That far down.
Yeah. Is it the 1940 serial, 15-chapter serial of Batman and Robin? Or is it the Joel Schumacher movie, Batman and Robin?
I don't know. You tell us.
It's a Joel Schumacher Batman and Robin.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Well, go ahead and tell us, man. What?
Well, for obvious reasons, this movie's completely terrible. But it's highly entertaining. You have to give it that. I love the over-the-topness of it, the Bat credit card, Poison Ivy. the horrible dialogue from Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl.
Oh my god.
The horrible flying acts in it.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, that was terrible.
And of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze.
Well, yeah.
I mean, those one-liners are just... Every time the first snowfall happens in Chicago, I always post that 2-minute video that's just him saying the one-liners of freezing. That's like that's my thing for some stupid reason. But yeah, it's really dumb, but it just harkens back to the 60s Batman TV show, much like Batman Forever. And I have a soft spot for that stuff, you know? So
I get it. I think a little bit of it probably has to do with age too. Because see, now like I grew up with the 60s Batman. So to me, them doing the Batman and Robin thing, it felt, I don't know, it just felt sort of like, I've seen this already, you know, like, but for you were only like a 12, 13-year-old kid or something like that when that came out.
was that 97?
No, it was earlier than that, I thought.
Was it?
Maybe it was 97.
I think it was 97 because Batman Forever was 95.
Okay.
So 97, yeah, what was I, 15?
Okay.
Yeah. So I think I was old enough to know that this was really terrible, but it was like fun. And at that age, I was watching terrible shit. So that was right up my alley.
Right.
Yeah, at that age.
Yeah.
Not now.
Whereas Batman Forever, I actually thought like, okay, this movie's actually like awesome.
Right.
And not goofy, even though it is goofy now looking back. But yeah.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I mean, Batman and Robin, we both each tried to watch it recently because we were like, man, you know, let's give it a fair shake, you know, because we know that Vito loves it and everything. And I'm like, yeah, you know, it's been a long 20 years easily since I've watched that movie. I'm like, I'll give it a fair shake. Man, I was like 5-10 minutes.
It's like, oh my god, are you kidding me? Into
that movie, and I'm like, jeez, this is bad. Like, but there are things about it I like. I'm a big Uma Thurman fan. I thought she was great as Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
Like, and campy and over the top and stuff. But I think she, more than anybody, got the 66 Batman vibe. You know what I mean? Like, she could have been a character from the old Batman TV show, from the whole way she played it up and her mannerisms, her voice, everything. It was like she really got it. I don't know if George Clooney was the right choice for that kind of Batman movie. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, and then in Chris O'Donnell, they just made a fucking whiny fucking snot. I was like, because I liked him in the other movie, you know. And Alicia Silverstone was just fucking useless. Like, she just didn't make any goddamn sense.
No, let's just throw a hot chick in there.
Yeah, she was really popular at the time, and they needed some. So I get it, but
didn't she get like a lot of grief because she like just put on some weight or something? Like she did.
Yeah,
I thought she still looked good.
They were calling her like fat girl and stuff. It's
fat
like,
girl.
It's like, dude, she looks really, really good. Yeah, it's like, what are you talking about?
It was a different time.
Yeah, I guess so.
It was a different time. Now they look at, you know, all those actresses and models and everything from back then. They're like, oh my god, they're anorexic waifs. And it's like, well, yeah, comparatively, because people have changed a little bit, that whole thing, you know. So yeah, that's not fair. Well, people are still assholes to actors and actresses. They find a reason.
Yeah,
but yeah, okay, number 5, all right, I could live with that.
All right,
I could live with that.
Live for another day.
Yeah. That's, you know, as long as you weren't putting in number 1 or 2, it's like, oh, come on, man. But
can we put movies in 2 different slots in the
list? You're like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
All the same.
Yeah. Numbers 5 through 2 was just Batman and Robin, and then number 1 is Batman 89, and that's it. So, you know, or Batman the Animated Series or something. Megan, what is your number 5?
I went number 5 with Batman Forever.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, so I stayed with the same Batman.
Nice.
And Robin. Less annoying Robin.
Yeah, exactly.
He was less annoying in Forever. That's for sure.
I don't know. It was still goofy and stuff with the you know, with the Riddler and Two-Face and stuff like that. It was silly, but it wasn't quite as silly as Batman and Robin. And I love the Riddler and I love the Two-Face and them playing off of each other.
It was good chemistry for sure.
Yeah,
I thought the casting was good in that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is my number 4. I'm just going ahead and say it.
Let's go ahead and say it
now. Yeah, this was my number 4.
It's my number 4 as well. So.
Oh, all right. So
okay. Let's do it now.
Yeah, do it. We're doing it live.
Really get this movie train going.
Yeah. This was my number 4. I agree with you. It is goofy. I watched it recently, and I noticed that it hasn't aged as well as I would have hoped it would.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely of a time.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? But some people seem divided on Val Kilmer. I liked Val Kilmer. I liked him better than George Clooney. Yeah, and I don't dislike. I'm a big fan of George Clooney. He just wasn't Batman.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna say that a lot in this one. It's like I like this actress.
Yeah,
I didn't like him in this.
I agree with you.
Just
there.
like Nicole Kidman. I hated that bitch. Dr. Chase. Oh, I was like, I hate her. She's so fucking annoying. She did grow on me a little bit, but
she gets better through the movie.
Yeah. In the beginning, she's like, really? That's how you introduce yourself? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, she had such a hard on for Bruce. Well, Batman, then Bruce, and then back to Batman, and then I don't think she knew what she was doing by the end of the movie.
Right. She's like, I thought you were who I wanted, but I don't. I want Bruce. Yeah. I had to have you both? What? Is this really what I want?
Tuesdays and Thursdays, you wear the bat cowl, and then every other night, it's just Bruce Wayne or whatever.
There you go.
Yeah. It's like Tuesdays and Thursdays, it's spicy, and then the other days, it's meatloaf, you know? But you put it in 5th, we've got it in 4th. I think that's about where it belongs. It belongs on the list, but it's definitely not as good as it could have been. I enjoyed it a lot when it came out. Did you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was it was a good age for me. I was 13, I think. So, yeah, I was.
Yeah, Nicole Kidman is good
I
at
had a big
age.
crush on Nicole Kidman at that age. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Well, even Kim Basinger in the first one, man.
Yeah.
And, Michelle Pfeiffer, too, in the second one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She hates it.
And we lost Vito.
Yeah, I hadn't really, in all honesty, I hadn't really thought about it, but in the original 4 Batman films, they did a really good job with the female casting in those movies. Because, I like Kim Basinger as Vicky Vale. I know you don't like Michelle Pfeiffer at all, but I
like Michelle Pfeiffer. I don't like her as Catwoman.
Oh, okay. Okay, I thought you just didn't like her at all.
No, I like her.
Gotcha. And I like I said, I could see how she was a little ditzy and annoying, but I thought that Chase Meridian gets better and everything, and gets a little more interesting and entertaining. And like I said, I loved Uma Thurman in the 4th movie. And again, I'm bagging on Alicia, but Alicia, she was okay. I just feel like it was too crammed in there.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's one thing that I also feel about Batman Forever is that I felt like they didn't really need the whole Two-Face storyline in that movie. Or they should have. I would have preferred it if Two-Face would have just been the bad guy, like if he would have been the main bad guy and that's it. But I think having him play like second fiddle to the Riddler, and I mean Jim Carrey, come on, is the Riddler. Like how can you top that?
Yeah, you can't top that.
So I don't know. I think that ended up being a problem that happened more and more with those Batman movies, was that they started trying to cram too much into it. And doing a little bit of a disservice to the characters and even the actors and stuff, but I'm good with that. So,
and the Batmobile looked pretty fucking awesome. Forever. It's like an H.R. Giger design. We had those ribs, and you can see like inside the engine and stuff. That was really neat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I really, really liked the look and the aesthetic of Batman Forever when it came out. Especially, I loved the toys. I was, of course, I'm always into the toys. I had all the Batman Forever toys. Loved that stuff. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you got to say about it?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. My number 5 is probably one of the more left field-ish ones, kind of. And my number 5 is Batman the Movie from 1966. So have you guys ever seen Batman the Movie?
Oh, yeah.
No.
You've never seen it, but you've seen it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Batman the Movie from 1966. I wasn't sure if I was going to put it in here because much like Batman and Robin, it's so over the top campy.
It's my number 3. Actually.
Is it really?
Oh, wow.
We're going to burn through Vito's list here. The more I thought about it and kind of reviewed the movie again and thought about it, I said, man, I have to put this in here because this is where it all started. Now, granted, I know about the old movies from the 40s, 50s, the serials, all that kind of stuff. And those are great. Don't get me wrong. But those were, what do you call them? Those were like crackerjack movies.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They were just kind of disposable. They didn't make a big impact. They weren't anything like major. This movie is the reason why we eventually got other Batman movies and stuff later, because Batman prior to this movie was known to kids and dorks, you know what I mean? Like comic book people. Like Batman, he wasn't Superman, he wasn't, you know, anything like that. He was still pretty underground in a lot of ways, in terms of mainstream knowledge, you know, where every mom, dad, and grandma and grandpa knew who Batman was. That didn't really happen until the 66 series and on, you know, took off. And this movie, dude, it's got all the main players. It's got Burgess Meredith as the Penguin, Cesar Romero as the Joker. It's got Frank Gorshin as the Riddler. They unfortunately didn't have Julie Newmar because she had like injured herself or something. So they got Lee Merriweather. Oh, yeah. And she's great. Oh, yeah. Vito likes his Batwoman, man. They got Lee Merriweather. She's awesome. I mean,
Miss Kitka.
Yeah. The whole thing is just
the plot of the movie. I mean, dude, it's so good. They're going to dehydrate the fucking members of the UN.
Right.
Oh.
What?
Yeah. They have a dehydration gun that turns the members of the UN into powdered dust that the Joker collects.
Okay.
And they got to reassemble them at the end of the movie. It's, oh, dude, it's so good. And then Commodore Schmidt-Lap?
Yeah, Schmidt-Lap, yeah. That's what I'm saying. I mean, you know, obviously people remember just like on par with the Bat credit card and all that, we had the shark repellent.
Bat spray.
Spray, yeah, that actually made the shark explode.
Yeah.
Oh my.
So it's not even that it just makes you go away. It actually causes the shark to explode.
You got to see this movie, Megan. It's great.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check this out now.
Yeah, and I mean, but like I said, is it ridiculous? Yeah, it's ridiculous and everything, but it's where it all started. And I used to see this movie when I was a kid. They would show it on WGN, Channel 9. Like it could be like a Sunday afternoon or something. I'd be all bored and I'd happen to turn it on, and all of a sudden there's Batman on that ladder with that shark hanging from him, and I'd be like, "Oh my god!" You know, like you know, it was just so exciting. I just have a kind of like you do for certain things. I have a nostalgia soft spot for that part. I can nostalgic soft spot. Okay, there you go. I can say it. I can talk really for
I'm
that.
rubbing off on you over there? What's going on?
For that movie, so that it had to get into my list. So there you go. So yeah, so you've got Batman and Robin, Batman Forever, and 66. Batman 66 movie. All right, let's move on to the number 4s. So you said your number 4,
Batman Forever.
Yeah, which I don't know if you have anything else to say about that.
No, we think we talked about it.
That was my number 4. What's your number 4, Meg?
I went with Batman Returns.
Oh, okay.
That far down, huh?
That far down again. Pfeiffer, that Catwoman, just I was like, ugh, why are we on her again?
So do you not like her as Selena Kyle, or just everything she's doing in that movie?
Everything in that movie. She was just annoyed me.
Gosh.
Every turn annoying me. Annoying as Catwoman, annoying as everywhere.
I just
don't like her.
I couldn't disagree with you more.
I know. I know. But she annoys me. DeVito is what saved it for me.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, he's so badass in that movie.
Yeah.
And so like disgusting.
And
that
you
movie,
feel for him,
yeah,
and he's like the bad guy, and you want to hate him, but you still feel for him.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, you really got to me. So.
Right. Well, that's what I was saying. You know, I was watching it, and I'd kind of forgotten just how morose of a movie it is, especially by the end. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, spoiler alert, obviously, but I mean, like, sure, Batman saves the day, but nobody really wins at the end of this movie. It's a little bit of an Empire Strikes Back kind of situation, because everybody just kind of it ends on sort of a down note, you know, in the same way that I like Michael Keaton and how he handles his role. I feel like Michelle Pfeiffer is excellent at playing two completely different characters. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think there's
Yeah.
I don't think there's as, you know, I don't like it when you can easily tell when they're in their disguise, you know, in their costume, superhero, supervillain costume, that you're like, oh, how does anybody not know that's the same fucking person? You know what I mean? You know, same even as much as I like Duma as Poison Ivy, it's like, is this not obvious to anybody that this is the same fucking chick with just with a bunch of makeup on? You know, like you can tell.
She changed her hair color too.
Oh, whoop-de-doo, you know. Hair dye.
If it worked for Superman with the glasses and the curl on the other side.
Yeah,
I guess it could work for anyone.
I know, but I'm just but I felt like I loved the whole dichotomy of how Bruce and Selena Kyle fall in love, and them as those characters when they're normal whatever alter egos, they're so kind of both nervous and, you know what I mean, just young nervous people in love, and they're so kind of, you know what I mean? It's like this awesome chemistry. But then when they're Batman and Catwoman, it's a completely different kind of chemistry, you know? And then like one of my favorite parts in the movie is when they're at the ball and then they realize who each other is.
Yeah, that part's good. I'll give you that.
When they're dancing and she's just like, are we supposed to kill each other now? Like, what are we supposed to do? Like, I love you, but shit, you're my enemy, you know? Yeah, I loved that. I loved what they did with DeVito. You know, because like you said, he's kind of tragic. He's pathetic. But you want to see him get beaten by the end because he just becomes a complete monster. Yeah, I kind of felt bad for him when all them little penguins are carrying his ass off into the water. Yeah. Yeah, I like the Penguin Commandos, man. Those guys are great. How can I not like a movie with a bunch of Penguin Commandos in it?
You can't. It's
you know,
just not
it's
possible.
impossible,
Yeah.
And one little bit of other thing that I really like about this is I loved the casting choices. Tim Burton is just
nailed it.
Genius with that stuff. He gets Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman to play the Penguin's father and a little cameo, which is just a cool touch. And he gets Christopher Walken, of all people, Christopher Walken to play Max Schreck.
He's so good in that role too, dude.
And the other thing, if you don't realize, is that, again, totally Burton thing to do, just to make it more macabre or whatever. Max Schreck is the name of the actor who played Nosferatu in the old 1929 film. Yeah. So that was just like a little nod to, you know, because Burton loves that shit, you know. And obviously, you know, we love Burton because we talked about it in the last top 5. So if you didn't watch that or listen to that, you
go do it.
Go do it
after this
right now. Yeah. Well, yeah. Wait till we're done talking and then go listen to that because you never get enough of us. This was my number 3.
Okay.
This is my number 2.
Oh wow, we are burning through yours very quickly.
We sure are.
Wow.
Yeah. So, anything else you want to say about it, Vito? Since this was your number 2.
I just love how dark this movie is, and not just visually, but also the way the story unfolds. How he's trying to kill all the firstborn of Gotham, and it's very not kid friendly, which is cool in a way, you know.
It really surprised me.
And I think it surprised the studio, too. Yeah. They weren't expecting to get something like this. Because, like, well, we have to market this to children and make toys and stuff. And Batman's literally, like, murdering people on the streets. It's like, he sets that dude on fire with the exhaust of the Batmobile.
That's right.
He takes that dynamite and stuffs it in that one clown and throws him off the bridge. And he fucking explodes.
Fuck that clown.
How the Penguin is, like, trying to get with the Catwoman and those interns at the political office and stuff. He's just such a creep, man. It's just
yeah. But he does a good job.
He does,
you know. Yeah, exactly. This surprised me when it came out. Because I mean, the first movie was, you know, it had a darkness to it and a noir aspect to it, as Burton always does.
Yeah.
But that second movie, like I said, I remember walking out of there and it just wasn't like the same feeling as when I walked out of Batman 89 when I was like, fuck, that was amazing. This when I walked out, I was just like, damn.
That was fucked up.
That was kind of a fucked up movie. Like, you know, it's like I laughed, but then I felt bad and then I felt kind of grossed out and it was like gamut of emotions.
There's only one criticism I have of the movie.
Oh, okay.
And that's one of the first shots where the bat signal goes up and it illuminates all the bat signals at Wayne Manor into his fucking living room. And it's like, if anybody saw that, they would immediately know who the fuck you are, dude. Like, why would you put that up like that, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of...
Oops.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking that.
Other than that, the movie's fucking brilliant and perfect. But just that one shot was like, okay, that's a little far-fetched, I think.
Yeah, obviously we rank that one a little bit higher than you too, so I'm gonna be real curious. So I don't remember now.
I have such a problem with the female leads in these movies.
See, wow, talk about the opposite. I guess this is where
Yeah.
it gets very male versus female here. Yeah, that's.
I find them all so goddamn annoying.
Well, you have a different perspective, I think, than we do. Because we're looking at him going, man, she looks good in that outfit, you know, or whatever, or, you know, something. But no, but even that being said, at the time, like I said, I really thought, Catwoman was annoying, but Catwoman is annoying. She was always annoying. It's kind of part of the character to me. Like, I've never not thought Catwoman wasn't like a little bit annoying, you know what I mean? Just in the way the characters acted. But you get Julie Newmar, you get, you know, Michelle Pfeiffer, somebody as a Catwoman, and it's like, yeah, we can deal with it. We could deal with the annoying. So, anything else?
Nope, I think I'm good.
Okay, all right. So, yeah, number 4 was, for me, was the...
Oh, that's right. Forever.
Batman Forever, and it was same for you, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and then yours was Batman Returns. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on to number 3. Well, like I said, my number 3 was Batman Returns. Vito?
Mine was the 66 Batman movie.
Okay, so Megan, what's your number 3?
I went with Batman Begins.
Okay.
That's my number 2.
Well.
That's okay. Well, what do you like about that movie? Curious to compare notes on this one.
I liked Bale.
Yeah.
As Batman, the introduction to Batman, kind of getting his backstory and everything. I didn't really care for the whole martial arts part of it. Like, okay, whatever.
Okay.
I don't know. My original introduction to Batman, that's not how I had pictured him. So then to throw that at us,
it's different.
I was like,
yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
That's not my Batman, you know. But I liked Katie Holmes in that one. I really liked her period.
Mm-hmm.
But so she's one female lead that I did like.
Okay,
ironic that you're going to say that because
she's the one you don't. Let me guess.
I liked Katie Holmes. I thought Katie Holmes did a very good job as Rachel Dawes. That being said, I hate Rachel Dawes. I couldn't stand what they did, how they made her. She was so overly self-righteous and just snooty.
What I liked about her was that she kind of always kept Bruce Wayne in check.
Sure.
Like, he's like, you're not a playboy. You're not, why are you doing this? That's not who you are. You know, that's not what your family legacy is. Why are you fighting this so hard? And that's what I liked about her.
I agree with you on that. I just feel that the way they wrote it and the way it ended up being played was that they made her so condescending. Like, I felt like at times she could have stood to be a little bit more sympathetic towards him.
Mm-hmm.
And she was just constantly just like, oh, you know, like, you're so stupid. Like, I can't believe you would want to go and shoot this guy that killed your parents. Like, oh my God, I'm going to slap you in the face. That's just the worst thing I've ever heard. And I'm like, bitch, really? Like, not saying it's the right thing to do.
But she's more like, two wrongs don't make a right.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, she couldn't
Don't go down this rabbit hole.
Was she practicing law at that time?
Yes.
She was. Okay.
And that's what I'm saying. I feel like it's another one of those cases where they took somebody and I'm like, okay, I get it that she's very on the side of the law, but like, she could be a little bit more sympathetic towards this man, given everything. You've been there his whole life. You know what he's been through. You know what I don't know.
But she also knows he's a bit of a hothead.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Like I said, I actually did not mind Katie Holmes herself. I thought she acted it very well. There was just certain choices they made in terms of like her dialogue and some of the things she did and stuff. But in the end, I liked her. Now you get into Rachel Dawes in the next movie, in The Dark Knight.
We're not going there.
With Maggie Gyllenhaal. And I don't dislike Maggie Gyllenhaal, but I did not like the way she played Rachel. And I was one of those people that when she blew up.
Yeah, good.
I did. Everybody in the theater was like, oh my God. And I was like, fuck yeah. Thank God they got rid of that chick. Like, geez, she sucked, you know. Go find a Vicky Vale, man. But
yeah, to me, that Katie Holmes character I didn't care about in those movies. And spoiler alert, I don't even really like those movies that much.
Okay.
Even though Batman Begins, I really love the first half of it. The whole backstory of how he becomes Batman and the martial arts training stuff.
See, yeah, I like that part too.
I don't know if that's from the original comic books. Okay, they just kind of made that up for this. Okay. Yeah, because that also threw me for a loop. I was like, oh, I didn't know that's how his origin started, but I guess it's not. They just made it up or whatever.
Right. Yeah, well, I mean, you got to understand, in all the movies, what it is they amalgamate different parts from different comic series over the years. I mean, you know, Batman has been told and retold in the comic books like, 100 times. I mean, there's all these different writers' visions of it. And I mean, like things like Ra's al Ghul and all that stuff. That was like no, not totally later, but some of that storyline stuff was stuff that came along later. It's not really going back to, especially all the Christian Bale Batman movies. Those are really far astray from the comic books. You know what I mean? They take little bits and pieces of information and just made a whole new universe, a whole new backstory.
But I did like seeing him construct the bat suit and the weapons, and Lucius Fox, like Morgan Freeman is fucking, dude, he is so incredible in that role.
Yes.
I think he's my favorite part of all those movies.
I agree.
More than Christian Bale. And
Absolutely.
Although Michael Caine, I do like him as Alfred. I think he's really good in that role.
I was just going to say, I end up finding myself with those movies really appreciating, and I feel like they're the best part of the movies is that supporting cast. Yeah. Michael Caine is Alfred, Fox, Morgan Freeman is Fox, Gary Oldman.
Yeah, he's good at scoring.
In there and everything. Like Rutger Hauer's in there in a little part. Like I like what they bring to the movie, and I almost feel like the main characters are good, but they if it would have just been on them to carry these movies for me, I don't think it would have worked for me personally. But yeah, I like the look of it. I liked
I hate the Batmobile. I hate that Batmobile. I'm sorry guys. I know like a lot of people love it, but I think it's fucking dumb.
I think it's a cool vehicle. It's not a Batmobile. You know what I mean? Like there's
it's more like a tank. It's not a cool sleek car.
Right.
It's a bat tank. Yeah. It might be functionally make more sense for what he wants to do.
Yeah, but
But it just doesn't have that cool gothic chic, you know, like the real Batmobile.
He's so destructive with it.
Yeah, I know. He does more damage than all the villains in those movies with that thing.
Seriously.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's the other thing I wanted to bring up is Cillian Murphy plays the Scarecrow. He's got the whole thing with the
Scarecrow.
with the gas. Now there's
that is in the first one.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's true.
And that's another thing. I loved it. I thought that was such an interesting choice to get him to be the Scarecrow of all things, but then once they showed how he did it and the whole psychosis behind it, I was like, "Oh, that's pretty clever." I would have loved to seen more on that. And that's kind of the problem I have with a lot all across the board. Other than maybe the first movie, all the Batman movies, they try to cram as much in as they can. Like I was saying earlier.
Especially
about
the second one, dude.
Yeah. And, and they try to cram as much in as they can. And I feel like it does a disservice. I know fans get excited because they want to see all these characters, but I'm like, man, take the time. Like that first movie, I didn't necessarily need the whole... it ended up being important to the story, but I didn't need the whole Scarecrow story. I could have just had the Ra's al Ghul storyline, or I could have had... Or they should have just ended the Ra's al Ghul storyline as having the first half of the movie, and then the second half of the movie should have been the Scarecrow story when he goes back to Gotham, and that's it. But then they tried to cross it over.
Yeah, it was a little weird. Although some of the visuals when Scarecrow shoots the gas are terrifying, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, that's why this Batman Begins was my number 2, man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's my number 2. You know, I really went back and forth about whether this should be number 2 or Batman Returns. But I find myself being more in the mood to watch Batman Begins on a more regular basis than Batman Returns. Batman Returns is so moody. I have to be in a mood for it. And so that ended up being the deciding factor of why I bumped that to 3rd. But I think this is a great movie. This is probably, since I don't really consider Batman 89 an origin movie, it's the start of the series, but it's not an origin movie.
Not an origin, no.
Batman Begins is an origin movie, and I think it's one of the best superhero origin movies out there. Because I'm not a big fan of origin movies a lot of times, you know? When you look at, like, Iron Man's okay, but
the first Iron Man I think is
pretty good, yeah. But I mean, like Captain America and stuff like that. Like First Avengers is good, but, you know, Winter Soldier is better. You know what I mean? Like... That's the case with a lot of them. I think that Batman Begins is a great origin movie, and Superman the movie is a great origin movie, at least for DC, you know. So
yeah,
I don't like Christian Bale's Batman voice. So annoying. Like, stop talking like that.
I understood why he chose to do that, though. He has such a distinct sounding voice that anybody that knew him, as soon as they heard Batman talk, if he talked like him, they'd be like, "Oh, it's Bruce." Like, he has that distinct mouth.
No, because he's got a cowl on.
Oh, wow, that
like
does it.
Superman. He's got the same voice.
All right, we got to leave Superman out. All right, just stop picking on my Superman. All right.
All right.
Poor Superman. You know, what could he do? He had
a deep in his voice.
Or go super high.
Fucking goody two shoes over there. He can't do much with that voice, man.
Dude, fucking leave my Superman alone. All right, just leave him alone.
Bale does a little bit of the Batman voice in Terminator Salvation when he plays John Connor. He puts a little bit of that raspiness. Yeah, I was like, oh, dude.
Yeah, I don't like it.
No.
Yeah, I
think
too much. That's his idea of like a raspy, gravelly voice. I just don't think he does it very well. So, whatever. Yeah, that doesn't. I don't like it, but it doesn't bother me. I know it turned a lot of people off. It doesn't bother me that much. So
yeah, that's my biggest complaint about the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal: providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.
All right, Vito. So yours was the 66 Batman for number 3. Mm-hmm. Yours was Batman Begins, and mine was Batman Returns. All right. Now, let's move on to our number 2.
My number 2 was a number 2, which is Batman Returns.
Okay. That doesn't surprise me. Well, you mean it was a number 2.
It does surprise me because it is number 2 and not number 1.
Well, that's true. Sequel, man.
But
yeah,
you'll understand when
I
it's into number 1, guys.
Okay. Okay. Megan?
I'm going to throw you guys all for a loop. I'm going to bet yours isn't in this.
Okay.
I picked Lego Batman.
I was going to say, I bet you she had Lego Batman as up there.
Fucking love those goddamn movies. They're so damn creative.
I've never seen them.
Never seen
Oh
it.
my God, you guys. You're missing out.
I saw the Lego movie, the first one.
Oh,
and I saw some Batman because he was in that or whatever, but I never saw the actual Lego Batman movie.
Oh God, it's so good. It's so funny. He cracks me up. He's like throwing a face, like flopping over the floor, but he's only moving the way Legos can. He's like, no. Cracks me up. I fucking love them. They're so goddamn creative.
Did they get like some voice actors from the movies or something to play some characters in that?
Billy D. Williams is Two-Face.
Oh, nice.
In that one, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I very much want to see it.
Yes,
it's just one of those
so
I always
cute.
forget about. I don't know why.
I don't think I would have ever seen it if it wasn't for my nephew and my niece, honestly. Okay. And I saw there's like, this is really fucking good.
I heard all those Lego movies are like really good.
Yeah,
the first
really
one was great.
Yeah.
I've heard the second one was good too. It's one of those things, where it's like I always see it and I'm like, oh, I really want to see that, and then
you just don't think about it.
Yeah, I just don't think about it.
Yeah. Worth your time, trust me.
Doesn't he have I've heard it played on other things before. He's got that song. He's like dead parents.
Yeah.
He's singing like his theme song and he's like adding in words about his life and everything.
So dumb. It's so good. It's dumb in a good way.
All right. I can get down with that.
But this made it all the way up to your number 2.
Yes, absolutely. I will gladly watch this one over and over and over.
All right.
Before any of the other ones, honestly.
That's a pretty good endorsement, man.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
Well, my number 2, as I said, was Batman Begins. So I've said enough about that. I don't need to say anything more about that. So then, Vito, your number 2 was
Batman Returns.
Lego Batman. And then Batman Begins. We are already at our number 1.
I know. We're making record time here.
Yeah.
All right. So before we get to number 1, we're going to leave everybody hanging like, oh, man. Before we get to number 1, do you guys have any thanks but no thanks? Like, is there a Batman movie that you're like, man, if I never watch that movie, I'm good?
No.
Like, I love them all.
From the ones I've seen, yeah.
Okay.
Even the ones I don't particularly like, I wouldn't not watch them.
Okay.
If somebody sat me down and they were watching, I would watch it, but I wouldn't go out of my way to go see it, I guess.
Okay. What about you?
I would have to go with Batman and Robin. I'm so sorry, Vito.
Jesus.
I didn't make it through the whole movie. They kill me when they were like, he's got a gun or whatever it was, and he announced it. I was like, really? You have to announce?
Dude.
What was it?
Dude, there's so many. There was the one part they're breathing in like the gas.
It's like, my lungs!
My lungs! Like, who yells that?
Well, even in Batman Forever, dude, the fucking bank security guard where he's in the vault with the acid, that's like my favorite scene of the movie.
Yeah.
It's boiling acid! Oh, my hearing aid! And they make the pop sound when he takes it out. Yeah, it's good.
Dude, that's
so bad.
Yeah, it's tough. I like I said, if I'm in the right mood, if I want to watch something really goofy, I can watch Batman and Robin. But otherwise, I
would probably put it on in the background while I'm doing something else. So I don't really have to focus on how bad it is.
Yeah,
I at least need to finish it, I suppose.
Someday.
One day.
As for me, again, I don't think it's going to be any huge surprise, but my thanks but no thanks, although this is going to be a surprise to people who don't know me or whatever, and everybody is going to be aghast. But my thanks but no thanks is the Dark Knight movie. I fucking hate that movie. I hate that goddamn movie. I'm sorry, people. I went and saw it like the day it came out. I was so excited. And what? Don't give me that look.
No, she's just selling it in for a long.
I know where this is going. So.
I've said enough about it in other episodes, but I acknowledge, because everybody's first reaction is going to be, dude, Heath Ledger. Look, okay.
No,
look.
guys.
Heath Ledger, to me, Heath Ledger did a fucking incredible job with that role. He did something different. He did, I mean, obviously, it drove him over the edge. I can't say anything bad about what he did, but here's the problem. It wasn't the Joker movie. It was the Dark Knight, all right? And when you get past the Heath Ledger stuff, and you look at the rest of that movie, it sucks. It's not that good. I don't understand. And I feel like even the characters that I liked from the previous movie, from Batman Begins, they ruined everybody. Like all the things that I was saying I didn't like about the Rachel Dawes character. It's like in Dark Knight, they went, hey, let's make everybody an asshole. So it doesn't just seem like it's just Rachel. Like, let's make Bruce Wayne's an asshole, and even Fox is an asshole, and Alfred's an asshole. Everybody's an asshole, and people don't use common sense in this movie. And the whole theme, I guess, of this movie was just that, Joker shows everybody that, everybody's fucked up, and, society's crumbling, and you're all so fucked up, and I'm just gonna raise hell and make you realize it and rub it in your... Fuck you, man. That's not what I watch Batman movies for. And I get, and then I see people that sit there and say, dude, The Dark Knight is the best, superhero movie of all time. You are out of your fucking mind. You are out of your fucking mind. Are you kidding me? You assholes, go watch Endgame. Fuck you.
Endgame.
Go watch Infinity War Endgame. Go watch Doctor Strange. Go watch Captain America the Winter Soldier. You're going to tell me that Captain America Winter Soldier isn't a fucking better all-around movie than that piece of shit, The Dark Knight? Fuck you.
And the Roger Corman Fantastic Four, for Christ's sake.
Oof.
Oh, boy.
I got him. Gotcha, bitch.
You got me, you motherfucker. I got you motherfucker. Look at him. I had him going. I had him shaking there.
Wow.
No, but... I would, at this point, if I had a choice, if you were like, hey, we're going to go upstairs, have some drinks and pizza, we'll put some on, I'm going to put on the Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie or put on The Dark Knight, I'd fucking Roger Corman it all night long. Because at least it's funny and just, you know what I mean, intentionally bad. Dark Knight is not what I want out of Batman movies. If it's what you want out of Batman movies, then God bless you, man. It's not what I want. I loved Batman Begins. You remember, we all went and saw it. Remember, the band all went and saw it together at the theater. Yeah, we did.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Oh, gosh. We went and saw it together one time and everything. And we all liked it a lot. And I was so jazzed. I was like, oh, man, and Joker's going to be in the next movie. Heath Ledger's a good actor. And he didn't let me down. But the rest of it, this movie never fucking ends. It never ends. And I watched it. I suffered through a lot of it because I was really disliking so much of this. Then they finally stopped the goddamn Joker. And I'm like, okay, good. This movie's over. And then it's not over. And there's like another half an hour. And we have to get into the whole Two-Face storyline then.
Yeah, but to me, that was the best part of the whole movie.
Well, it could have and should have been the best part of the movie. But it should have been
its own movie.
Its own movie.
Yeah, because I loved how he's like this high... well-known lighting guy, and then it all goes downhill as fall from grace. So yeah, that I would love to see more of that.
And that's my point, because it should have ended. They could have had a little tease. They should have left us wondering what about
Dent.
Yeah, what about Harvey Dent? What about this whole thing? What happened with him? They kind of left us hanging with that. They should have left us hanging, and then the next movie should have started with all of that.
You know what they needed? They needed Marvel in-credit scenes to tease us for a next movie.
Right.
There you go.
With Harvey Dent.
Yeah. Not a fucking half an hour of this like forced thing with him kidnapping, Gordon's kids and all this stuff. It's like I said, I won't keep going on and on about Dark Knight. If you like it, great. To me, I don't understand all the praise. It cannot just be all heaped on the shoulders of Heath Ledger alone. Heath Ledger was great. Rest in peace, brother. But that movie is not as great as you people make it out to be. Now, moving on to a movie that is as great as people make it out to be.
And better.
And better. We're going to talk about our number one. And I already know for a fact that we all three have the number one. And what is it, guys?
Batman 1989.
Yeah, pure perfection.
Yes.
Yeah, that is definitely our number one. We'll just go along and each tell our thoughts about it. Vito, what do you think? Why is it your number one?
The soundtrack. Danny Elfman's probably his best score ever is this movie.
Right.
Wow.
And then Prince. Come on.
Like I said, Danny Elfman.
Come on, man.
I am not a Prince fan, but I'll tell you, when I was a kid, I loved the Bad Dance and the other song that was in there. So I'll give him that. But past that, no thanks.
Dude.
And honestly, when I think of how Batman is supposed to look, it's this movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
His suit, the emblem, the car, the Batplane. I mean, the Batwing.
Gotham.
Yeah, Gotham. I mean, this.
Batcave, everything.
Yes, this is Batman. This is the world of Batman. Like, this is it. Not, Christopher Nolan's Batman.
Right. And there's things I like about Christopher Nolan's Batman, obviously. Like I said, I love Begins, but it isn't quintessential Batman.
Yeah.
Like, this is Batman. Like you just said, yeah, when I think of Batman, I think of this Batman. When I think of the whole look of it, the whole feel of it, the way that this straddles the line between comic book cartoony silliness or whatever, and having a little bit of a darker adult humor and film noir kind of look, and how it's still a little sinister and everything. It walks the perfect line that a Batman movie should.
Agreed.
What about you, Meg? What?
I agree with all that. This was my first Batman.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Me too.
it's just perfect. There's nothing to top this. Batman is amazing. Michael Keaton is Batman. Perfection. Fucking Kim Basinger in this fucking movie is amazing.
Oh, you actually like her?
I
thought she was going to bag on her.
And we're going to come to the rescue right away.
You guys were both ready to pounce. No, I do like her. She screamed a lot in this movie, but it's not as bad as the chick in Indiana Jones screaming. So I'll give her a pass. Yeah. Whatever the fuck it is. Yeah. So I'll give her a pass on that. At least it was screaming when she should have been screaming.
Yeah, that's true.
Fucking loved her hair. I wanted to be her so bad. And she's like this classy chick and stuff like that. That's what I picture Batman going after.
Yeah, but she's classy, but she's still kind of street.
She's classy, but she doesn't mind getting her feet dirty, kind of thing.
And she had a cool profession, like she was a professional and great photographer and stuff. Like she had stuff to do and could do well. It wasn't just like this maiden in distress.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And then fucking Jack Nicholson as a Joker. I mean, that dude is fucking creepy as shit.
That's the best Joker.
Yeah,
is by far the best Joker.
Again, sorry folks. I know most people nowadays are gonna say it's Heath Ledger's.
And he was good, but I don't. It's not the same. That is fucking Joker. It's so creepy.
Yeah,
it's like he's not trying too hard. He's just being Jack Nicholson. That dude just knows how to be weird and and over the top, but to make it work.
Well, and it's funny because I feel like, that movie is still to a degree a product of its time because it was still the late 80s and there was, they weren't going to take a movie like that and get too over the top. I mean, Burton pushed that limit a little bit more with the sequel, and we saw how that kind of worked out and everything. But I feel like if you would have been able to let Nicholson really go,
oh god,
because for people that sit there and want to say that some of the other portrayals of Joker are better because they're more crazy or they're more psychotic and everything, and I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I think it's there. Like, I think that it's there beneath the surface with Nicholson. I know a lot of his stuff is one-liners and jokes and everything, but again, here's the thing, folks. That's the fucking Joker. To me,
it's in the name,
right?
Well,
what
it is. You know what it is there's a different kind of generation of people that grew up with a later version of the Joker that's more kind of psychotic, mental patient type Joker.
Gangster almost type of thing.
Yeah, kind of like the thing that translates more to Heath Ledger's Joker, and people are like, oh, well, that's fine. Again, if that's what you like, but I'm sorry to the three of us here in this room, and right now our opinion is what matters because we've got the fucking microphone. All right, but seriously, to us, it's like when we think of that like classic like Joker character, like what that character is supposed to embody and everything. Nicholson fucking nailed it. And then
Oh, I was just gonna say, you're talking about all that. I love how Nicholson, he's all his suits are clean and pressed, and he's well put together and everything. And then you got Ledger's, and he's all disheveled and a hot mess and everything like that. And I don't know, this one's creepier to me because he if he wanted to, he could fit in and still be fucking crazy lunatic.
Yeah.
Where this one, not so much. He's just a little crazy, and he's like the weird dude walking down the street talking to himself.
Like, he can't. Heath Ledger, like his shit. He can't keep his shit together. But Nicholson can be cool and trying to fit in.
Yeah, because he like takes off his makeup or hides his makeup at times and stuff.
When
I
was a kid, I thought he was putting on his makeup.
Yeah.
I didn't like get. That
you didn't get what he was doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know. Just the fact that he could fit in just makes him even more creepy.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah, and I mean, and then as far as Keaton goes, I want to say best Batman, best
Period.
Bruce Wayne, fucking period. And here's why. Because, again, the same reason why I was praising Michelle Pfeiffer's version of Catwoman and Selena Kyle. You look at the way he plays Bruce Wayne, and the way Bruce Wayne's just kind of, he's Michael Keaton. He's that kind of shuffling, like a little nervous, just kind of this nerdy sort of, I inherited all this money and I'm really, really bright. I'm really intelligent and everything, but I'm kind of awkward kind of guy, and everything. And then you look at the way he plays Batman, and he's just a badass, and he doesn't say much, and he just has that look to him, and his voice is a little deeper, not stupid growly, not like Christian Bale, but just a little bit deeper, and he's just kind of like real cocksure and everything like that.
It's like Reeve and Superman, dude.
Right.
You point out on our Superman podcast where you saw that moment where he turned.
Yes,
into Superman.
And that's why, as much as we can make fun of, and I do too, that you're fooling everybody with a different hair part and glasses. But the point is that he plays Clark Kent so well that it's hard to put the two personalities together. And Keaton does the same thing. And that's why I can see somebody knowing Bruce Wayne and then encountering Batman and never thinking for a moment that that's Bruce Wayne under the cowl. And I can't say that for the other portrayals of him. I feel like he's vulnerable. You can see who he is, especially Clooney. I mean, he's just George Clooney'd it. He's the same fucking person. I'm like, who are you kidding? Like, how does anybody not realize this is, we won't even get, you want to talk about the glasses on Clark Kent. I'm sorry, but how is anybody not supposed to realize that Chris O'Donnell is both Dick Grayson and fucking Robin? He's got this little teeny tiny stick-on mask. The rest of him, his hair color, shape of his face, it's the fucking same. Who doesn't know that that's Robin? I mean,
not to mention his acrobat costume is the same as his
Robin
costume.
Right.
The only thing I can think of is nobody knows who the fuck Chris O'Donnell's character is. He's just like some random like fucking gypsy that comes into town once a year to do the circus, and I was like, oh, I think he looks familiar, but I don't remember.
I mean, but later,
quite place it.
Yeah.
But later he starts going out on the town
That's
with
true.
Bruce and everything. It's like, come on, man. But anyway, getting back to the point of Batman 89, everybody in this movie is perfectly cast. Jack Palance is the mob boss. Everything.
And just the delivery of all the dialogue by all the characters is just like awesome, dude. I love how everybody delivers their lines in this movie.
Well, like you pointed out when we were talking earlier before we started recording, how it has sort of like this old time 40s-ish kind of feel to it, but then it's like modern too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like Burton created this whole new world in a sense. I mean, sure, he drew inspiration from the comic books and everything, but like,
it's almost like this weird alternate history version of like
right.
an American city,
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and like I said to you before, think about he basically like invented that whole Gotham style.
Yeah.
That's like a thing now. You know what I mean? Like that whole style. You say to somebody, I want to get a suit, or I want to have a car, or I want to have a thing that's kind of Gotham style. People know immediately. And what they're thinking of is that Burton kind of gothic, gothic chic mixed with old timey gangster New York chic, kind of mixed with something kind of weird and horror comic-y, and like put it all together. And there was no movie when we first went and saw, I was in high school and I went and saw Batman at the theater, and we saw it, and it was like, this doesn't look like any movie I've ever seen before. Like, I can see its influences. Like I said, that looks old-timey, and that reminds me of The Godfather. This reminds me of that and everything. This looks like Nosferatu and blah, blah, blah. But I'd never seen a movie like that. And it's hard for people to understand that now because you've seen so much of it. Mm-hmm. But if you were back then experiencing it, then you would understand, and you would be like, oh, okay. And that's why this movie is number one. I mean, to me, if somebody says, "Oh, I don't know what Batman is. I don't really know anything about Batman," this is the movie you're going to put on.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So, anybody else got anything more to say about it?
Mm-mm.
No, I think we says all we can say. I can't says no more. As far as some honorable mentions, I don't know if you've got any honorable mentions, things that I would have brought up. I just want to say that when I made this list, because I love Batman so much, there was so many things that I could have brought up. I mean, I'm sure there's people going, hey, how can you not bring up any of the animated movies? Because there's some fabulous animated Batman movies. And one of my favorites is Mask of the Phantasm. Loved that movie when it came out back in the mid-90s. I had to put a restraint on myself because honestly, it was just going to be too hard if I included all those movies in it. Like, to me, I would have to do a separate list of animated movies and stuff. I could do a list of animated shows, because there's so many different animated Batman shows I could do a whole top 5 list on and everything. TV, and then even live action TV shows, the old serials like we mentioned. And then another thing that would have been a real surprise for a lot of people, and to me, this could have been number 5, but I held off, and here's why. I was going to put Justice League, the movie, the live action movie with Affleck and all that stuff. I was going to put that in my top 5 because I actually overall really enjoyed that movie quite a bit. I think people were way too hard on it because of just how much people hate the new DC movies and stuff, and all the backlash from Batman versus Superman and stuff.
They're getting some kind of Zack Snyder cut of that, aren't they?
That's why I've left it off for now, because they just announced that they're coming out with an extended nude Zack Snyder director's cut in 2021, and I'm very interested in seeing that. So I don't know how that's going to affect my opinion of the movie one way or the other. So I said, you know what, for now, I'm just going to leave that one off because it could change. My opinion of it could change. I might like the new version better than the old one or vice versa. I don't know. So for now, I have a feeling I will be talking either on a Geeking Squad podcast or something. I'll be talking when it comes out about the Zack Snyder Justice League movie. But yeah, for me, those were like the two main ones, that Mask of the Phantasm animated and Justice League. Those get honorary mentions for me. What about you guys? Any kind of honorary mentions of something like?
I'd probably be with you and do Justice League.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, I think it's underrated. I know people's complaints about it, and I agree with them, and that's why I'm curious to see if any of that is rectified in the Zack Snyder version and everything. But yeah, what about you? Anything?
I had Batman Begins as honorable mention.
Okay,
but I would throw in Batman and the animated series and Batman Beyond in there.
Oh, Batman Beyond's a good one.
Yeah, I thought that the storyline plot was cool of that, where Bruce is old and that was like a younger Batman, and it's neat. It's like in the future, so obviously I'm all about that. But.
Yeah, right. Well, that's what I said, and who knows, folks? Maybe in the future we can always revisit Batman again, because there's so much other Batman stuff. I mean, these movies that we talked about is such a small portion of the larger, universe. Like I said, we've got these even other movies he's been in. We've got all the animated series. I mean, animated series and Batman Beyond and all that alone deserves its own discussion. Plus, I grew up I love Challenge of the Super Friends and Superpowers from the 80s. There's so many really cool other Batman iterations and stuff. Someday we'll revisit this, but I don't know. I feel pretty good about our lists. I think
too.
Yeah.
I think they were
A
good.
solid list, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I thought there was going to be some real fisticuffs thrown here.
Why are you guys looking at me?
Thought I was going to have to call in Bob the Goon
I love Bob the Goon.
to take care of things, But all right. So yeah, that's it. Let us know what you thought. What did you think of our list? Do you agree? I already know a bunch of you are gonna want to argue with me about The Dark Knight, and I've heard it all before. But please definitely let me know why you seem to think it's so great, and or if you agree with me and you think it's overrated, man, by all means let me know, because I need more people on my side with that. But yeah, we'll be back soon. We got all sorts of other cool stuff. We'll have another top 5 coming up for you pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're
already in the works.
It's already being worked on and everything. Something a little different. We're looking forward to it. And that's it. So, all right, everybody, go jump in your bat cycle and hightail your ass on out of here, because it's time for us to say see ya.
Bye.
Later.
Later, Bat Gator.
Aw.